You can totally see how not even a little bit was taken out of context, apparently, according to the vice president. I've heard better cleanup. Kristen, when it comes to the economy, I feel like saying like you're in my world now, Smalls. I'm so excited to talk about the economy right now. One of the most interesting elements of this week, which I think, unfortunately for the president, dovetailed with his comments, was the CNN poll that came out on affordability, which was devastating. And I think what's important for people to understand is when I say devastating, it's not devastating in a purely political sense. This is a Trump thing sense. There are systemic rifts in the U.S. economy that have been there for more than a decade and continue to grow and are severely problematic. You have current economic conditions, 27% say they're good, 73% say they're poor. Cost of living, Trump policies, have they increased the cost of living? 77% say yes. 55% of Republicans say yes, which I don't think I've seen Republicans split on a majority basis from where the president is. Big picture economy, what are you seeing right now when you're talking to voters?
Yeah, there are two ways in which voters have really soured on Trump when it comes to the economy. The first is just overall economic job approval. Used to be for many years, especially during his first term, was something that voters said they actually liked. Hey, I may not like the tweets, I may not like his style, but he's handling the economy well. That is no longer the case. And the second is gas prices. When you ask voters what party they trust more on a bunch of different issues, Democrats tend to win on health care, Republicans tend to win on immigration, and gas prices and energy used to be one that was very much in Republicans' wheelhouse. Now, job approval for Trump and how he's handling gas prices is like through the floor. Even Republicans saying, I don't love this. And so look, if Trump had made the case to the American public, there's a real threat from Iran in terms of its nuclear weapon, and this is imminent, and we have got to do something about it. He might have had a little bit more leash from the public, but that case was never made. And so now this retroactive, well, Iran was really bad, and that's why you've got to pay $5 at the pump. That's why it's just not working for the American voter right now.
And I think imminent is the most important word in that. I mean, I think anybody, if you were to ask them on the street, do you wish for Iran to have a nuclear weapon, or how frightened are you at the thought of thermonuclear holocaust? Yes, everybody would agree with that, but it's in the back of their mind. What they're doing is buying gas once a week and having to frankly, on every street corner, see the prices posted. One of the most interesting figures I saw in that poll was, are you proud of your personal finances? Are you proud of the state you're in? And a remarkably low percentage of Americans are even saying that this is now beyond what people think of politicians. It's how they see themselves. And I think in an election year, that's very, very bad for anybody running for office right now, to be scared at that.
I want to play some of the sound from people on affordability, just a mashup of a bunch of people, because I think it's a really good kind of wide-scale look at things. Take a listen.
It's survival mode, and that's a mode that haven't been used to.
For me, a financial stressor is groceries.
Everything's gone up, from the beef to the eggs.
I'm a junior, and I missed the whole semester of school because I couldn't afford housing. I want to have a house and have a family, and you know what I mean? Like my parents did.
Sochi, it's that last quote that, one, stuck with me, but two, I think connects to a really important piece of the poll itself, which is the number of people who said the current generation is not doing as well as their parents' generation, and the next generation will do even worse than they're doing right now, which I think captures our inability to get it, why is everybody so pissed all the time since COVID? And there's lots of reasons, but I really think underneath it all is people don't feel like the American dream is necessarily available to them.
It's further and further away from them, and they're seeing it in not only for themselves, but for their kids. And that is what's the scary part of it. And to add on to it, it's almost as the administration didn't learn anything from the last administration. You had Joe Biden talking about a really wonderful economy all of the time. The difference, though, is that Joe Biden wasn't saying things like, I don't even think about you a little bit at all, right? Or at all. And you didn't have Joe Biden going and building ballrooms or having a red carpet in China, or taking, the wealthiest men in the United States to China for business, or his family profiting off the way Donald Trump's family is off the presidency. And so there is this disconnect between what Donald Trump is saying and what the American people feel. And this is why I think you see his poll numbers are in the tank when it comes to the economy. And you would think that by now, Republicans would at least warn him that they need to see a change in his rhetoric and what he is doing and his actions if they want to win. On the Democratic side, I don't know why we don't have ads up running in every swing congressional district with those comments, but they need to be up fast.
But you will.
We will, and they
we'll
need to be
see
up
a lot
fast.
more of this.
Yeah.
The question here was the message to Iran. and the president is trying to respond to the taco trade, which is Trump always caves. And he's saying, in this environment, my message to Iran is, I don't care. We're going to stare you down, and you're going to cave. That's number one. Number two, that implication is going to China, which is, do you see what happened in Venezuela? Did you see what happened, how violently we executed the results and decapitating the regime in Iran, trying to send a chilling message to all of our adversaries globally. So when he's saying this, the message was not to domestic politics, though we will see it for sure. The fact is the American people hate inflation. Everywhere in the world we're experiencing inflation. You go to Europe, you're seeing this in spades. The destabilizing effect it's had on the UK government. We're watching in live time this week especially. But everywhere, the experience of people dealing with inflation is one of grave and deep hatred, and they therefore hate their system of government in these moments. And until you have stable prices, and energy being the main driver of this, 40% of this inflation question is related to gas prices and oil prices. Until that's resolved, it's going to be very difficult to actually tell the American people you're doing better and you're feeling better.
You know, back to Sochi a second ago, you said an interesting point about ballrooms and these displays of wealth. And part of what was appealing about Donald Trump all along was this aspirational idea of, wow, we have someone who's wealthy, who's a millionaire, businessman, whatever, and people who support the president saw something in that. The problem is that the wealthy person can also quickly veer into let them eat cake. And at a time when people are struggling, having that person out saying these things like, I don't think about your finances, can very easily, as you said, appear in campaign ads, and I think we're going to see that.
Do you think, what's the durability of the American people's patience with, to Patrick's point? I mean, the Strait of Hormuz is not open yet. It ain't going to be open anytime soon, and even if they magically make a deal tomorrow, it still ain't going to be open anytime in the near future. This is going to get a lot worse for people, and I'm not sure everybody actually grasps that right now. What's the durability for people who are already pissed off?
Well, I mean, I feel like the patience has already run out, again, in part because that groundwork wasn't laid for why are we doing this in the first place. I do think that the American people are willing to make sacrifices in exchange for meeting important objectives to keep them and their families safe. I think it's because those dots weren't connected in advance and we're trying to retroactively connect them is why a lot of voters are going, I don't know that I buy this, I just know that this hurts right now.
Yeah, that's a really great point. All right, coming up in the arena, the